Hi, my name's Ayoka, and welcome back to the pod. I had lots of fun planning out this episode and thinking of ideas of what to put on my bucket list, and I'm really excited for you to listen to it too. So let's just get right into it. Don't mind your business. Mind my podcast, Mind Elixir. So first of all, I made this bucket list because I feel as though high school it's a big thing, well, or stage in our life where we're onto the transition of adulthood. As some people say, it's like a coming of age question mark. I don't know. But we're onto the transition of adulthood and it's like you're mature, but then also at the same time you're still a child, kind of in between. So there's a whole lot of stuff that you're capable and still able and can do. And if you listen to my last episode, I talked about why I didn't like to set my expectations high. But this time I am setting my expectations high because progress, growth. And I am trying to start actually setting my expectations high and hoping for stuff like I said in that episode. So this is me doing that by creating my bucket list. And basically, my goal is to complete the things on this bucket list throughout high school, not just immediately, not because, as we know, there is a pandemic going on, as we all have heard way too many times, which I'm sure we are all sick of. At least I know I am. I am literally ready to get back to regular life. But, since there's a pandemic going on, we really just can't ignore that. So I'm going to be doing it, throughout high school. And plus, it's a lot of stuff to do in just like 1 year or half a year of what's left of freshman year. So it's throughout. First of all, I want to go to a football game. I mean, even though I don't really like football that much, I would still like to go to the game just for the experience and just to be cheering people on. I don't think I've ever went to a sports game except I went to like one baseball game, so that should be fun too. Second, I want to go to homecoming because I don't know, that's just another one of those things that seems like it's an essential part of high school. You have to go to homecoming at least once. And also, I don't know if it's just a Texas thing because Texas does have its own traditions, but there's these things people wear, mums and garters. I think it's like these huge ribbons or whatever. I'm not really sure how to describe them, but that also seems fun to do. I'm not sure who's wearing the mums and garters, but that seems pretty fun to do also. Second of all, I want to go to a party at someone else's house or maybe a full sleepover because technically I have not had I don't think I've been to a sleepover at someone's house. Like I went once with my cousin, but my mother literally slept over also. And then I went to another sleepover, but I didn't actually sleep overnight. So something I want to do is either go to like one a house party or go to a sleepover. And then that leads me to my next one. I want to throw my own party. I have never thrown my own party just because like what would I do? I have no idea. But it just seems like a pretty cool and fun thing to do. And yeah, like it just seems like a fun thing to do to just have a party. Maybe not necessarily a huge one, probably not. I'm not still not quite sure about this one, but yeah, I would like to have my own party at my own house. At this house. Obviously, I don't own it. And then another thing, I'd like to go to the school dances or whatever you call it, prom. I'd like to go to prom and the school dances because people always say that you're going to regret missing out on prom. And of course, I'd want to go to prom. Even if I'm not necessarily going with someone, like it just seems as though it would be something that's quite fun to do, even just go to prom with friends, you know? And then something else I definitely need to do is learn how to drive because I'm pretty sure people start learning to drive maybe around 16, 15. And so I would like to learn how to drive just so I can start gaining your own independence because I feel as though whenever you know how to drive, there's just so many more things that you can do by yourself and independently, and like you can just go on trips with your friends and stuff like that, and going out by yourself, it just gives you so much more independence, so that whenever you're allowed you can drive by yourself. You don't have to have your parents carting you around everywhere, or it doesn't, not everything you do has to align with your parents schedule. You can just go on your own time, or what, and stuff like that. Which leads me to my next thing. I'd like to go to a drive-in movie. Surprisingly, I don't know if this is surprising or not, but I've never been to a drive-in movie. But I'd love to, because they seem a sort of nostalgic, vintage. I don't know. They seem so just like a picture perfect moment, and it just seems like a really cool experience to just be sitting in the car looking at the movie at night with stars overhead. It just seems like such a cool thing, and it's a pretty chill experience. And then something else that also involves driving, since I definitely need to learn how to drive. I'd want to go on some trip with my friends. Like maybe a road trip, or like I don't know, a trip to a national park, or to go camping, something like that. Like an overnight trip. I wanted to do that, because I'm not sure if that's like quite I'm not sure if that's quite realistic, but are any of well, some of the things on this list are realistic and some of them aren't. But they're still pretty great, and they still seem like something that I'd like to try. So I'd like to go on an overnight trip with friends. And I'm not sure to where, like a camping ground. Like I don't have that part quite figured out yet. And then of course, I'd like to pull an all-nighter, because I know, like, just for fun, I would not want to pull an all-nighter trying to finish up my schoolwork, because that seems so stressful. Like I'm literally stressed just thinking about pulling an all-nighter to do schoolwork. And I have never pulled an all-nighter, just because my parents, they don't want me to stay up past 12. And like, yeah, I think my bedtime, I have to, like, they don't want me to stay up past 12:30, so I've never pulled an all-nighter. And plus, I can barely stay up till 12 o'clock, because I get so tired. And then whenever it's like really late into the night, or yeah, whenever it's really late into the night, it starts to seem as though there's not really that many things to do, and it just gets boring. So I just fall asleep, because I don't have that much to entertain me, because after a while at night, watching TV does not cut it. I just fall asleep. So I definitely want to pull an all-nighter this sometime in the next 4 years. And then another thing that I want to happen to me, or to do, I don't know what this would count as. I want to get a boyfriend, which I hope my parents are not listening to this. If you are, um, well, I don't want to make it seem as though getting a boyfriend is just something that would be a check off my list. But I just want, I would like that to happen. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. It's not like I'm just going to solely go out with someone just to check it off my list. No, it's something that would happen naturally on the regularly. I wouldn't just do it competitively or whatever. Which means, like, which another thing I'd like to do is go on a date, because I know a lot of people say high school dating is very questionable, but then I guess whenever you have more privileges in high school, and you can do more things, and you might as well try out dating if you want, just responsibly, obviously, because not every high schooler is irresponsible. So I'd want to go on a date with some boy, probably, maybe. I'm not so sure about that one. Anyway, and then another thing that is kind of podcast related, I want to get 100 listeners on my podcast, which is, I know, like, well, actually, I think that's kind of realistic. I just need to start promoting it more, which is why I always tell you, I know you probably think it's annoying, but there's a reason why I always say to tell people about it, to post about it. I always say that. And of course, obviously, this podcast for me, it isn't just about the listeners or how many listeners I have. I used to be a little too obsessed with the amount of listeners I have. I mean, Let me not lie to myself. I still kind of am, but not as much so because podcasting it is something that's fun for me and I don't know, talking, I guess. I don't know. There's something I like about it. I guess it just gives me something to do, like a goal to accomplish. So yeah, I want to gain 100 listeners on my podcast. And if you would like to help me accomplish that, then of course, leave a review, send it to a friend, post about it on social media, whatever. And if you don't want to, then that's all right too. And then something else I'd like to do is just make a scrapbook, like a scrapbook. Well, at the end of high school, I'd like to make a scrapbook of all the pictures, make a scrapbook of a culmination of my high school experience of all the things I've done with like physical prints. I'm not sure what the word for those are, like physical photos. Make a scrapbook of it because that just seems like something that would be really cute. And although digital photos they're cute too, I feel as though the physical ones they have like a different aesthetic, a different feel to it. And plus it would just be nice to have that physical memory. Um it would just be nice to have a collection of all the memories and like a physical collection of them and what I've been through and my experiences in high school. That just seems like a really cool thing. And then another thing I'd like to do is apply for a job. I'm not quite sure about this one because do I really want a job in high school? Not really. Do I kind of want a job? Maybe. So this one is a maybe. This one is a maybe. What job would I even have? Like, because I know jobs are for making money, but I kind of want something that would be fun. But at the same time, I do want to make some money. But my parents already provide me with enough money for now, at least. So that's fine. And then something else I'd like to do, an additional thing I'd like to do, like I kind of talked about it in episode 21, 20, whatever. In one of my episodes, I want to either make a zine, which is an online magazine, which come with art, art for different contributors of art, and it's kind of with some activism and all of that. Or instead of a zine, maybe make a blog for that to accompany to go along with this podcast. Like, just a blog, a website. I could write whatever, or I would upload videos other than just podcast videos, podcast recordings to my YouTube channel. I want to do that too. Like, I don't know. I don't have any video editing skills, but I could definitely learn, and I would love that. And what I just said, that leads me on to my next thing. I'd either like to maybe write a piece on the zine or write something on the blog, write a writing piece, writing piece uplifting and focusing on the mental health of teens, especially people of color. But, of course, it would be for everyone. Everyone would be welcome. I wouldn't want to exclude anyone. But, as a person of my color myself, as a black girl living in America, I'd like to focus on that too. So maybe write a piece about or focusing on, centered on the mental health of teens because that is something that maybe and sometimes is overlooked in our society because people might just sometimes brush away the problems of teens as just oh my gosh, just another angsty teen, just another moody teen, and they'll get over it. So I definitely want to do something like that. Okay, so this next one is something that I really need to do. Well, not need, but I'd like to. It is redesigning my wardrobe and developing my own sense of style because I just feel as though I want to develop my own style because basically my whole wardrobe is filled with spirit shirts from last year from school, spirit shirts from school and my entire middle school and elementary years I just wore a uniform. So I didn't really have that much time to develop my own style. And now that I have basically a free dress for high school, then I can do that and I want to start curating my own style to make something that's confident for me, clothes that I feel confident and wonderful and fabulous in. Yeah, so just clothes that I'll feel fabulous in. And of course, it's just not just about material things. Just want to remind you of that, but I would like to develop my own sense of style. And I'm definitely leaning toward alt style, not necessarily like extreme alt, but I really like a bit goth style, not super goth or anything. And then I also like Kinderhor, which is like dresses with combat boots type stuff. I don't know how to describe it, but it is very cute. And speaking of redesigning and developing, I would like to redecorate my room. I think I already talked a bit about this, but I would like to redecorate my room to kind of reflect my personality more and just be more me because I live here. So of course I'd like to have it reflect who I am and what I'm about. And then another one of my goals, another thing on my bucket list is learning AS either well, okay, two options for me. I'd either like to learn ASL, American Sign Language, or any other language, either ASL, French, or Spanish. I'm kind of discouraged about the languages, so I'm not quite sure about that. I always start learning languages, but I don't finish them. Either learning some languages or I'd like to become amazing, fantabulous at doing the violin, which I have been kind of practicing the violin. I was trying to learn the notes again, like just practicing with the notes, the finger placements and all of that. I haven't really played it that much recently, but yeah, cuz I used to play violin and I was kind of okay with it, but every time I listen to it now, I'm just so squeaky and it's just yikes. Oh my gosh, yes. I'd like to dye my hair. So I'm I've always wanted to dye my hair kind of maybe a pink color. Wait, I've always wanted to dye it a pastel pink color. I'm not exactly sure if I would do that or if I would just I yeah, I probably would not do that. But I'd probably just dye like a small oh my gosh. I'd probably just dye a small portion of it like dark red or highlight a small portion of it. Nothing too dramatic, at least for now. And something more school related is that I'd like to run for a leadership position, whether it's in a club or an organization or something like that. Speaking of organizations and clubs, I would definitely like to join a youth led organization focused on activism or social justice issues and something like that. Because if you know me, I am definitely kind of passionate about social justice issues and stuff regarding all of that. So I'd most likely like to join an organization focused on activism and advocating for human rights and all of that. This next one is something I'd most likely do in my junior or senior years. It's taking an internship. I'd most likely do an internship at some sort of medical facility because, as you know, I'm interested in the fields of medicine, but I'm also interested in design. So maybe an internship at like some graphic design or interior design place, something of the sort, some sort of internship. And this is just like an overall goal. This next one, it's to get all A's in my classes as the average, as the semester averages. And of course, grades aren't everything, but that is just something that I personally want. And I'm not sure if this next one is quite as achievable, but I'm still going to try to push for it. It's becoming the salutorian. I can't even pronounce it. Salutorian or valedictorian, which basically means you have the top grades of your class for the year, I believe, in senior year, in your last year of high school. I want to try and get that one. And then finally, of course, graduate, which should be pretty easy. I hope I graduate. And yeah, that is what I'd like to accomplish for my high school experience. That is my bucket list for high school. And I think you, whoever's listening to this, I think you should make one too. Why though? You're probably wondering, why should I make a bucket list? That's too much work. Well, first of all, it's important to take advantage of the opportunities you have in your life and to just keep on striving to have fun and living life to the fullest, setting goals. And whenever you set the goals for like a certain long-termish deadline, then that kind of gives you something to look forward to. I mean, of course, if we only, I mean, like, we only experience high school once. So what the heck? You might as well push for more stuff or try to achieve more stuff or whatever you have on your bucket list. And of course, bucket lists can be related to anything, but mine is just related to high school because school is a main part of my life, and bucket lists kind of, they give you something else to look forward to rather than just the regular cycle of school, homework, stress, sleep, repeat, all of that. Whether it's a club, learning new skills, gaining new hobbies, or whatever, I think it's just a really fun thing to do, and you should try it out. Try making one. You could even try making one right after this episode, or while you were listening to it, whatever. I think you should just do that thing you wanted to do. Just do it. Having a bucket list, it gives you something memorable to look back on and see what you achieved. That's what I think. And this is actually even though this is my first one, there might be more in the future related to other things even. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you share this episode with anyone, you can post it on Instagram, tag me. I would really appreciate that. And of course, I appreciate all the love and support from each and every one of you listening to my podcast. And if you liked it, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If not, then I don't know. Don't do anything. Bye. Thank you so much. Catch me next time on Wednesday, hopefully. Bye.